I can just move over. Hello, and welcome to Schoolstone. It's me, NHLNJ Fan 1, aka MartyB. And I am here with JRJuggerLaw today. JR, what kind of match do we have for everyone today?
We have arguably one of the most exciting matches in Wild for the entire week, and this is coming from somebody who does not follow Wild as closely as other people do, because we've had a lot of interesting developments, as people know. We have playoffs are upon us. The new set was just released, but as people are aware, this is the new cards are not available are not legal to be played within Wild right now, as was decided by the playoff teams. Marty, do you want to explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so the idea was it was very early into set reveal, and we didn't know what was going to be released. So we were worried that we'd have another Scalomance or Snip Snap case where, or even, some people would argue Psych Melon, where a single card was released, and it pushed a deck archetype so hard that it would create a tier S deck and just warp the meta. So we know this meta already. We know there isn't any specific tier S deck except for Dark Lair Warlock within the first 3 weeks or so that was nerfed.
Mm-hmm.
If we hadn't banned the cards, we wouldn't guarantee that the meta wouldn't shift to this one meta warping deck.
Right.
So that was the idea.
Right, and that's very understandable. I mean, I can understand how with the Pro series, people felt like, okay, it's a bit of a different meta, but definitely workable. But we've kind of seen how Wild can be put in a very unstable place from one card just kind of running rampant. And even with so little time to test, obviously it's possible that somebody could have come up with something very crazy and broken and overpowered that would have upset the balance of the meta, which, I mean, from what I've heard, people seem to really like right now in Wild.
It actually hasn't really changed much at all. There's only been one new deck, or one returning deck, I'd say, in Big Priest. And that's not even a high tier deck.
Right.
Most of the meta is staying the same. I wouldn't have expected much of a change in THL besides some new cards here and there. It's just we couldn't take the risk without knowing what the set was going to bring.
Absolutely. I mean, there's nothing wrong with wanting to play it safe in that instance, especially when Wild is obviously much more volatile compared to Standard.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's, I think, the most accurate way of putting it. But regardless, we've got an exciting match for you guys today because it is Memnarch coming up from the legendary Power Creeps, aka the amazing team designed by Posca that happens to have the Grandmaster Rami on it, versus Marty's team, F2L Viridian, who is in a very precarious spot right now because they're coming into this completely undefeated. They have not dropped a match, and they are actually down 10-6 right now in this current match and need to win both of these last two matches in order to keep their playoff dreams alive.
Yeah, so when we came into lineup decisions, we looked at Power Creeps and we're thinking, all right, they're going to try to big brain this, but we can also try doing the same. And it so happened that they 6-headed our 5-head plays.
Wait, that's a thing?
When I was looking at Jonah's lineup this week, I saw he had brought the same lineup for 3 weeks, so I figured, let me bring some counter decks for it, because it's unlikely he's going to change. It's been 3 weeks. Turns out, what I didn't know was that he planned on switching his lineup last week, but he missed the deadline. So he was able to change his lineup this week, and I wasn't prepared at all. Now, problem was, I brought some tier 4 decks that were specific good only into his previous lineups.
And that obviously does not always work out well.
Exactly. And that's exactly what happened. The same thing happened to Neji Boston, and Ultimate is in a precarious position as well because we weren't sure if Jack was going to change or not. It was very difficult to decide, especially since both teams, I've spoken with Memnarch before at the beginning of the week, both teams know the optimal lineup in Wild Conquest right now.
Right.
There is a specific lineup that you should always bring every week unless you're getting countered. And pretty much none of us were able to bring that lineup because we were all trying to counter each other.
So I feel like that's the toughest part about these open list metas. Like, how much thought do you put into the decks you bring? How much does it benefit you to try and counter something you expect your opponent to bring versus maybe trying to go for more of a let me stick to a couple comfort picks instead and see where that takes me?
It's very difficult. So
Pro and Wild kind of have that same issue, which is funny because like they're obviously very different metas, but that that issue is when you have an open list format, it's obviously naturally going to have a very similar issue to it.
Right.
It's a challenge. You have to figure out find a balance between how effectively is it good to stick to comfort, and then how much can an opponent benefit from like bringing a full counter lineup. Because like we saw in Pro Series this season, how a lot of teams, a lot of players would often go with like a very anti-warrior strategy, anti-weapon strategy, and they would bring like a lot of sticky fingers, oozes, with the idea of let's hard target warrior and let's hard target demon hunter. If they bring at least one of those decks, we should be good. But we kind of noticed how that had its downsides. Some players still really struggled to get wins going with that route, especially when they would try to tech all of their decks for that matchup, and it would kind of create problems. Whereas we noticed that that strategy seemed to be more effective in Legacy and Hero when people were thinking about like bringing it for maybe a couple decks, not necessarily going full target for a certain anti-warrior lineup.
Yeah, we see the same thing in Wild.
My God.
Even trying to counter certain decks is a risk.
Yeah.
Right. So it's tough to say. Like, Pasca brought an entire counter priest lineup, and he wasn't able to beat Rotted this week.
Right.
So it varies. So, but moving on, we should take a look at the deck lists. The players are ready, so we can get through this quickly for them.
Absolutely.
That is the wrong screen.
Got our one match on for today.
Yes, so Itachi has Dark Lair Warlock, Odd Rogue, Luna's Pocket Galaxy, Reno Mage, and Big Shaman. Memnarch has Galakron Warrior, another Luna's Pocket Galaxy, Green Air Mage, Cube Warlock, and Malygos Druid.
Interesting.
So
I'm noticing though, like mage lists, they are definitely a decent amount of choices for both of them. We see like Itachi brought Frostlit Jaina along with a few other tech choices, whereas Memnarch definitely went with there's definitely a lot of room for card preference here. You see a lot of staples.
So the idea was with Frostlit Jaina, that was specifically a warrior tech. Yes, because we were expecting Bomb or Galakron Warrior, and Jaina kind of just shuts that game plan down. Where Galakron can't attack, or we just heal out of bomb range despite Reno not being active.
Yep.
So that was the idea there.
Well, Memnarch did bring Bomb Warrior, so...
He did.
That is
Galakron, so... Yeah, that is like... That's probably Memnarch's favorite deck right now, if I'd have to guess. So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see who comes out on top. It's going to be very close. So,
my big question for you is: do you think that this is going to be a very uphill battle for Itachi, or do you think, given how skillful of a player he is and how adaptable he is, do you think that he might still have a really good shot despite the potential matchup issues we're going to see?
So, if anyone's watched the Wild Show, they'll know that Memnarch and I have this thing where we never go anywhere less than a 3-0 sweep for every single one of our players, and I'm going to have to resort to that here. I don't want to give too much away. I want the players to speak for themselves in the match. But for now, I'm just going to say 3-0 sweep Itachi.
Interesting.
Yeah, I can't say
I
anything
mean,
else.
I would be lying if I said I wasn't biased in this match because I'm obviously a big fan of Marty, Itachi, all the guys on this team. So I really would love to see them win. But at the same time, if Power Creeps were to pull off one massive upset, that would be pretty thrilling too.
Yeah. So I'm
I mean,
going to.
Itachi is great under pressure, so he at least knows what's at stake and he knows what he's got to do. So I'm excited to see
Yeah.
what he has in store for us today.
I'm going to let the players know that we are ready.
And I think the bands were already in, right?
I believe so. I'm expecting a Warlock ban from Memnarch's side, I believe.
Double check.
And then I forgot what we discussed with Itachi for the ban there.
Yeah, the bands are in. Itachi banned both of them banned Warlock.
Yes, double Warlock ban. That's what it was.
Double Warlock ban. So that means we won't be seeing any N'Zoth control Warlock from Memnarch, and we won't be seeing any um, Pain Giant Warlock from Itachi.
Yes, so Memnarch brought Q-Block, and Itachi brought Dark Glare Warlock. It's no surprise to see the Dark Glare banned. You're kind of forced to ban that deck since it's pretty much the best deck in the game.
Well, they both brought fairly different versions because Itachi brought
Memnarch's is Cube, so
right, it's Cube Warlock, whereas Itachi brought more of the
that is Dark Glare Warlock,
Giant Warlock. Yeah,
that's just Dark Glare. That deck is by far the best in the game right now.
Wait, so that deck is still the best deck in the game despite the Dark Glare nerf?
Yes.
That is fascinating to me.
Yes, it's one of the hardest decks to play as well. It's significantly harder than anything you'll find in Standard. If you want a challenge, that's the deck to learn.
Interesting. Well, sadly, we won't be seeing either of those Warlock decks right now, and that means Itachi's going to have Rogue, Mage, and Shaman, and Memnarch is going to have Warrior, Mage, and Druid.
Yes, and we are heading into the match right now with Memnarch on the bottom. Memnarch opening up with a Malygos Druid.
And Itachi
going for
with the Viridian Mage.
Yes.
So as we see,
I do want to say this Reno Mage is teched for this matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of Jaina, you have a small disruptive secret package. The idea is the Druid has to play around a bunch of secrets.
Right.
And then on top of that, you have Dirty Rat. And Dirty Rat, if you pull the right minion, then the Druid will have a very hard time winning.
Itachi's got a pretty solid opening right now. He can Book of Specters turn 2.
Yeah.
And hopefully get the good stuff. And he's got the Pocket Galaxy, should he need that later on.
Pocket Galaxy doesn't really matter in this matchup. What he's really looking at is that Loatheb block. If I were him, I'd be considering the Zephyrus play as well for wild growth. Here, you just kind of want to ramp. You want to get your disruption online. And he already has one piece. If he can get some more copy effects, he might go for it.
I mean, it's definitely a tough call because in this type of matchup, Zephyrus is good for the ramp, but he might also be thinking, do I want to have some sort of board clear ready? And Zephyrus is obviously going to be good for giving him that. Yes. So I can definitely understand the Book of Specters turn 2 instead, considering that's a perfectly viable option there too.
Yes, and we see the Dirty Rat. That is an excellent pickup.
Does he risk it here, though? Because
absolutely not. He's going to wait for Juicy Psych Melon to drop first.
Right.
Dropping Luna here is pretty good.
That's pretty, yeah.
That's something Memnarch has to deal with.
Does he swipe it here, do you think?
I would be strongly considering it.
Yeah. Because I guess he kind of knows if he doesn't do anything about it, he gets control. But that Psycho Melon play is also very tempting.
Yeah, Psych Melon, just draw your combo pieces. Then your deck.
And he's going to play the Moonfire so he doesn't overdraw next turn. So now the problem is he really does want to Dirty Rat eventually, but he doesn't want to do it here because he doesn't really have a follow-up to whatever he hits off of it.
Correct.
But I'm guessing he's definitely going to want to wait like till turn 6, so that way he can Dirty Rat Zephyrs into maybe a Shadow Word Death to remove whatever is played, right?
Yes, that would be the idea.
Yeah. Other than that, though, I'm trying to think what can he possibly do, because he doesn't really want to play the Zephyrs here when he wants to hold on to it for later. Or I guess he is going to play it here.
He is going to have to. He needs to dump hand.
But, like, what does he do then? Like, the problem is Dirty Rat gets something out of hand, but then what does he do to get rid of it, you know? If he doesn't have really a big board.
If he has a board, then he can take care of anything. The thing is, if he pulls something like Sathravar or Kun, it doesn't really matter.
And now, actually, he's got the Devolving Missile, so that also makes that far less of an issue.
Absolutely.
Oh, but a top deck Overgrowth from Memnarch.
Yeah, that does mean his game plan speeds up a bit.
Yeah.
So something of note, Geppetto is going to pull Malygos in particular. That's going to help Memnarch a lot.
Yeah.
No more niceties.
Now, here's what I'm wondering. Is this a Dirty Rat play? Is this a Loatheb play? Because he kind of knows what could, because he wants to hold off like a potential big play next turn.
You don't have to Loatheb just yet. You can rat. That is a very good rat. Doesn't win them the game, but it does delay quite a bit.
Yeah. I mean, I think ideally you would have preferred to get, whatchamacallit, Aviana or Kun off of that, but, you know.
I like the Ancient Mysteries pick here. Getting the sheep is very good. Potion of Polymorph will make it very difficult for Memnarch now. Pressure's on.
Yep.
Now, Memnarch has two options here. He can go for Branching Paths, or he can go for Spreading Plague.
I think he goes Spreading Plague here because he knows that's like going to be the best option. There's the Ice Block. That could be...
Ice Block is very relevant.
Ice Block, and then after it pops, just go for the Reno play. Seems pretty good. But what does he do about this situation right now? Because he doesn't really need to use any of it. He can't just do nothing about this board of taunts either.
He kind of can, actually, because if he leaves it up, then Memnarch can't combo next turn.
It's true.
It's possible Itachi just decides, I want to draw more. I'll give you another turn. I have Loatheb in hand. I can delay the game even more after this.
Sure.
Let's wait it out.
Yeah, that's fair. He's going to play Ziliax to try to get some healing.
I do think we're going to see Ice Block drop.
I think so.
No, he goes for the Fire Blast. That's not too bad because Memnarch still can't combo.
Right. Or at least, yeah, thanks to the Potion of Polymorph.
Correct.
He's got very awkward hand because he's got both Ultimate Infestations right now.
You're okay with both UIs, actually, because that'll help you draw into your combo.
True. I mean, and he does have Kael'thas, so that also goes a long way.
Exactly. Kael'thas alongside UI helps a lot.
Right. Hmm. I guess like he probably wants to maybe play Saphir. Like that's probably the best thing to test for the potion of polymorph that he like knows is in his deck.
Items.
Yeah,
Like
he will
Memnarch
have to be
lets you
testing
know
for it.
like
He
what
can't
secrets
risk
that
it.
could be. Okay, taking yeah.
Sands of time run low.
We got branching paths. Draw a card.
Memnarch is just forced to delay the game.
Right.
Now we see Lotheb, we see Zola.
This is yeah. I think this is a good Reno turn followed by the ice block.
Absolutely. The reason why is because Itachi knows he can't be comboed next turn because of that potion of polymorph.
Right. So
He can just wait things out and then drop Lotheb next turn.
right, exactly. He can even. Is there any reason you might want to save the Zola the Lotheb instead of Zoling the Reno, or is that? Oh, this is unfortunate.
This is very unfortunate.
Memnarch gets the thing he did not want to get, Potion of Polymorph. Potion of Polymorph.
So what we're gonna have to see
Itachi's
now.
feeling really good right now.
Yeah, he is. Absolutely.
And Paul Kelt, my good. Now, is there any possibility you might want to just go Jaina here, just to really?
No, you want to Lotheb, you want to copy the Lotheb, and then you want to pull Kelt. The reason
Okay,
why
so
you want to pull Kelt is because the first deck he's going to draw is Potion of Illusion. Curious to see if Itachi knows this. Doesn't look like it, but he can wait because he has the second Lotheb.
Right.
And he is presenting lethal.
And he's not going to trade to play the Polkelt. Interesting.
Kun is going to be dropped just for armor here. Memnarch is kind of forced to do it. He's going to have to rely on Kael'thas now to win this.
Which is, he's got cards in hand, obviously, but not necessarily all that reliable at this point.
Not at all.
I think realistically, he can just trade it off, trade off to kill it, or he can Devolving Missiles. It's really up to him. I don't think you need to Devolving Missiles, but I also don't know if there's really a better target for it. What do you think?
You want to hold Devolving for Kael'thas or Malygos at this point.
That's fair. I mean, he can also pretty efficiently trade into it, so I don't think there's much to worry about. I think Jaina's fine here too, especially develop the board.
Not dying anytime soon.
Nope. I think also either play the Polkelt or play the Arcane Keysmith while you're at it.
Looks like Polkelt's coming down.
Down. I gotta check the list to see what's he likely.
He's going to draw Potion of Illusion. And Potion of Illusion should end the game.
Wait, hold on. No, it would be Tortolan.
No, because he already used Luna's Pocket Galaxy.
Oh, wait. Oh, right, because
they all cost one in the deck already.
So then it would be the highest costing spell, which is indeed Potion of Illusion.
Correct. I've played the deck a lot, so...
Yeah, that's fair. You gotta remember I'm no Wilder.
Yeah, it's all good. I think we're going to see the overgrowth on this... Oh, he's going for the second UI. I'm actually going to be milling a bit here. I'm not sure how I feel about this.
He's gonna mill, I think, no, because he's going into fatigue, so he's not actually milling anything, I think. No, he is milling, never mind. He's milling just a Spreading Plague.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, he's basically just trying to play a Malygos, hope it sticks, and then that's really all he can do.
Yeah, he just needs a board to stick so he can win by board, but it's very difficult from here.
Agreed. I mean, the Devolving Missiles is at least great, because even if he still gets a big minion off of it, he can't Sathravar a Malygos. That's the bottom line.
Right.
But now he's put into a bit of a tough spot, because this is still decently formidable board to deal with, and he doesn't have any hard removal.
I like this a lot from Itachi.
That's just a lot of value to get to hand.
Exactly.
The Zola especially, plus another Lotheb, like it's just going to be a very tough spot. I mean, I guess you could make the argument that Memnarch should just play the Malagos anyway because he's going to have to make it stick one way or the other.
He absolutely has to, and then he has to trade because he needs that Malagos to stick.
Exactly. Trade into the Lotheb, trade into the Water Elemental. That's really all he can do. I mean, his other option is to Sathravar like another Kael'thas. That's like also a bit tricky because then you have to hope that sticks and then maybe try to combo with the Malagos, which even then you don't really have enough spells to make that effective. So yeah, he's just going to play the Malagos.
Yeah, he has to drop the Malagos here.
It's
his only out. He's going to have to trade as well.
Well, I guess you do trade into the 2-2, not the 3-2. I mean, it doesn't matter too much one way or the other.
He's considering the odds that it gets copied by something like Barista.
Right.
Which can make things very difficult.
That is actually pretty good. That is a very good pickup indeed.
So that, used on the center minion, will allow Itachi to clear up most stuff. And then he can just Evolving Missiles the Malagos, and that'll probably be the game.
That's pretty much it, I think, yeah.
Yeah, that's just not going to do it.
Yeah, Memnarch concedes. Itachi. Memnarch's got to be kicking himself after that one, honestly.
That's just a very difficult matchup for the Druid. I have practiced that quite a bit, and it's about 65-35 for the Mage.
I guess what I'm wondering is, like, how much should he have considered that was Potion of Polymorph, and how much should he thought about trying to play around, you know?
It's very difficult to play around, and they're already getting back into the next match, so let's take a look.
It's going to be Odd Rogue being brought by Itachi, and Memnarch sticking to the Malagos Druid.
Yeah, does not surprise me one bit, being honest.
I mean, it is a solid deck. It's basically a matter of, can he get enough momentum going? Like, can he keep the board controlled for the first few turns? And then Rogue might struggle otherwise. But Itachi does have a pretty solid hand, so we'll see what happens.
Yes, we will.
It's going to turn one deckhand.
We are going to have to reset because there was a patches. There's still a patches bug. So you will have to leave spectator mode and then rejoin.
Gotcha. Leave for both ends, you mean?
Yes. Yeah, it's really annoying, but small indie company. You know, the way it goes.
Lizard, small indie company.
Just get Itachi's hand again.
Friendsless bugs, patches bugs. Why so many bugs?
There we go. Edge Clan Thug being dropped. That's going to be... Usually it's very difficult for the Druid to deal with it. Memnarch has Swipe as an answer.
He does have to sacrifice the coin, though, so that's at least silver lining for Itachi there.
Well, the thing is, the Druid doesn't care about comboing into an OTK for this matchup. They just need to survive.
Sure.
So what you'll normally see...
I bring it up because he could have ramped that turn instead, and that would have been pretty beneficial for him.
The druid does not care about that. They just want to survive.
Fair enough.
What you'll normally see during the combo turn is usually copying a bunch of Khun the Forgotten Kings. And they'll go for armor a few times.
Right. I think you definitely play Beneath the Grounds here, right? Or
You
oh
don't.
no,
Beneath the Grounds is terrible.
I
in this
forgot cutting
matchup.
class would cost money now. Oh my god, that's really good.
I think we're gonna see him take Cram Session.
Yeah, because you want
Effigy
that.
is fairly weak here.
It's Effigy wouldn't be so bad if you weren't playing Odd Rogue. It's just not a good use of 3 mana in this matchup, and Cram Session at least gives you draw. But he goes for the Arcane Explosion. The upside, though, to this situation is that Itachi is, he has that Dr. Krasnov in hand that can really do wonders considering how big his weapon is.
He does.
And we see Memnarch is going to play the Psycho Melon, getting him set up. He's looking pretty good. Kind of unfortunate that Itachi doesn't have something to run the Krasnov into, but it'll work out just fine.
Leroy here gives him something.
Yeah.
Puts Memnarch down to 5 as well.
You can trade the Wand Thief into one of the 1/1s. You can then play the other Wand Thief you have in hand.
We're gonna see exactly that.
Yep. Ooh, do you take the Glyph or the Frostbolt here for the guaranteed damage?
Take the Frostbolt.
Yeah. This is pretty solid. I don't think you swing with the weapon though, right? Memnarch's not playing any type of freeze or weapon hate, right?
He is not.
Okay. And I don't think there's anything to worry. I think he could, even if he plays the Spreading Plague, Itachi's still in pretty good shape, it seems like.
He is.
Yep, he's gonna run that in.
Now we'll see Spreading Plague.
But he's still gonna take 5 damage, hitting that Leroy. So Itachi's gotta be pretty happy about that. Unless he's gonna. Oh no, wait. He actually might just run it into the 1/1, because he has to now trade. There's no way for him to clear.
So the thing is, Memnarch only needs to survive this turn, and then he's going to combo off.
Oh, right.
He goes Geppetto into Koina Aviana, and then he can drop the Khun, refresh his mana, Sathravar it, and just pop off.
Well, no, wouldn't he need 1 more mana?
No, because he's at 9 mana. So he has an Innervate in hand. The Innervate takes him to 10 mana.
But I thought you need Aviana plus the Innervate.
So the Aviana will be 1 mana because of Geppetto.
Oh, right. Forgot about that part. Little rough, but not terrible. But yeah, now
we'll see Memnarch go in here.
Problematic. Right, because Geppetto is definitely going to get an Aviana.
It's also going to pull Malygos. Which means Itachi's board is just getting cleared.
Yep. Now, there's no way Memnarch doesn't play the Branching Paths too, right? He's just going to armor up and go.
No, he doesn't play the Branching Paths.
No, he doesn't.
No, what he does is he plays Malygos. He's going to Sathravar here. So he's going to Sathravar the Khun. Play the Khun for 10 mana. Oh, he goes for...
Oh, I see.
I don't know why he went for Malygos there.
Why? What should he have gone for?
He should have gone for Khun. Khun, then he could play for 1 more mana.
Up.
Right, he can armor up for 10 to 17 health. He can't die, and then he can still clear the board with Swipe while dealing 9 damage to his face. For 19 damage instead. This is a throw from Memnarch.
Wow. Unreal.
Yeah, that was a massive misplay from Memnarch. He should have just gone straight for the Coon.
Black lethal too. My goodness.
Yeah, that Memnarch's gonna be kicking himself for that one. That was
More so than the last game. Oh my.
definitely not the play.
I
Yeah,
think he
you
was
just-
probably super confident that he was.
You just win
Out
on
of
board
range.
the next turn. You don't have to
Yeah.
deal all that damage.
I guess it's like hard because we always say how it's very easy for oversights to be made in this game.
Absolutely. Yeah, Malygos Druid is one of the most fragile decks in the game right now. So I'm not too surprised that there was a misplay.
Right.
It's probably the top 3 most difficult deck to play right now, in my opinion. So I am not surprised at all that that happened. But that does leave the Shaman left for Itachi. The Shaman is fairly good into Druid as well.
Right, because his shaman build. I'm gonna pull that up again. Right, because his shaman build is a control shaman. Control.
It is Big Shaman. It's not control.
Control
It's
big-
just
yeah.
Big Shaman.
Yeah,
It's a
big-
fully
big-
anti-aggro build. So
Right, so especially if he can get a big play going right away, like we see he's got the Yasharj in hand.
that's
He's
actually
obviously-
not. That's not what he wants to do here. This
What do you
matchup
think
comes
he should
down
do?
to Ancestor's Call.
Oh,
it's
because you
entirely
then risk getting
Ancestor's
something
Call.
big out of their hands.
Yes.
Right.
What you do is you wait for the Psych Melon, and then you Ancestor's Call, hope that you pull something good, and go from there.
Well, on the bright side, he doesn't need to rely on Ancestor Call in this case. He's got the Muck Morpher and the Eureka, so it's really just about can he survive long enough, which against Druid seems
Against
definitely
Druid, you
doable.
absolutely need the disruption. Either that, or you're high rolling Yasuraj immediately. And
Right.
it's not looking like he's going to be able to do that this game.
Ooh.
He's going
Oh,
for the Eureka play. He has to.
He's risking it.
He has
Oh
to.
man. Oh, and he doesn't get it.
He has to make that play, though, because if you get Yasuraj there, you're blowing out the opponent so hard that they can't come back.
What a risky 50-50, though. My goodness.
You absolutely have to make that risk.
It's fair. It's just
You
unfortunate.
just have to make that play, take the risk, hope for the best, because it's very rare that you're winning the matchup through attrition.
That's fair. Like, he knew he needed to take the 50-50 chance, because 50-50, he basically wins there, right?
Exactly.
Hmm.
The good news for him is that Memnarch still doesn't have Psych Melon. He only has one combo piece in hand in terms of minions.
Right.
And he
Yeah.
doesn't have many ways of drawing.
Yeah.
See him getting Geppetto here, though. That's not a good sign for Itachi.
No.
It's tough to say whether we'll see that Geppetto drop immediately, though.
Right.
It's a big risk knowing that there might be an Ancestor's
Ooh.
Call in hand.
Good pull.
These pulls don't actually matter all that much.
Oh.
Druid doesn't really care about the board as long as they're not big minions, and a 4/4 is not big enough to be threatening. 4/4s are
No,
especially
but when
easy
you-
to deal with considering Spreading Plague is a bunch of 1/5s.
Sure, but in theory, if you really wanted to say go, if you wanted to like remove it, like play Ancestral Spirit, remove it, and then he suddenly has 2 7/7s on the board, that could be. Memnarch's gonna go for Geppetto. He does get the Aviana and the Kale Fox, so that's pretty great for him at this point.
We're going to see him dump hand a little bit here. The idea is he's going to pop off next turn.
Right.
Ancestor's Call.
That's pretty good.
It's not bad. It's a good start.
I think you want to Ancestral Spirit the... oh, no, he's going to Portal so that he can just throw in the 4/4.
Yep.
I mean, he definitely throws in the Colossus, right? Because you developed 2 7/7s off of it.
Nope, the Colossus is going
Oh,
to
wait,
die.
no, because he hasn't played Ancestral Spirit on it yet, so it's only 1. But still, wouldn't have been bad. Oh, and there's the other Colossus.
Yeah, and now Memnarch is feeling the pressure. He's going to be strongly considering that Geppetto now. I mean, that Kael'thas now.
Yeah.
Spreading play is going to help a lot here.
Interestingly enough, if Hagatha's scheme had 1 more power onto it, Itachi would be able to clear all these and still have a modest amount of damage to put into Memnarch's face right now.
Yeah.
He actually could do that now if he really wants, but it's not, everything would still be left with 1, so not really worth it. He's just going to play
this is a very nice play here. Ancestral Spirit. We're going to see Hagatha's scheme as well, I believe.
He is going to play its scheme. Okay.
Yeah. So the scheme will kill the Colossus, but it'll give him an extra 7/7. You'll see quite a few players do this.
And there's of course the Walking Fountain with Wind Fury. Now Memnarch basically has to combo off now.
Yes.
And we're gonna see what he's able to get, because this is gonna be. It's gonna all depend on draws. He can draw through 10 cards in his deck thanks to the double Ultimate Infestation, but we
don't know if there's gonna be enough damage though.
What?
We don't know if there's going to be enough damage to get through this board though.
Right, because he doesn't have Satravar, so that's a pretty big hit. Thanks to Itachi's Ancestor's Call.
Yeah, and we do see Walking Fountain, and Walking Fountain is going to make it very difficult.
Right.
Yeah, we see the UI going face.
More than anything else, because otherwise that's just going to heal him up for 8 damage.
Yeah, he needs Malygos. He's going to get it.
Here. He's definitely got it now thanks to Psych Melon.
He does, and he's just going to go for lethal here. He has lethal.
He does have lethal, that is correct.
Yeah.
Had to act quickly, but it worked out.
There it is.
Memnarch is going to take a game, bring us up to 2-1 in Itachi's favor still. How are you feeling that Itachi's Shaman deck is going to match up against Memnarch's remaining 2 decks?
It's going to crush the Warrior. That I have no doubts about. It's the Mage matchup that I think is going to be more interesting, personally.
Right.
We're going to see Memnarch go with Mage, in my opinion, next game. Because Mage is the one that can beat the Shaman much more easily.
Right. But he kind of knows if he loses that, it's probably over.
After that, probably.
You asked for it.
So,
I mean, we're obviously looking at the score right now that the matchup margins don't really matter. Like, it's pretty much you win. Like, if you guys win both these 2 matches, you're in. If you lose any of these matches, you're out.
correct.
So, at this point, it's just Itachi's looking for that win, whatever the margin.
Yes, that's the hope.
Well, look, he's got the Ancestor's Call. He's definitely got himself in a pretty good hand right now. It's just a question of how will Memnarch respond to this, to his plays, because, it's definitely going to be. It could be very tough depending on how quickly Itachi develops everything. Because right now he's looking at Call, and he's going to play that. He's going to play it regardless of what he hits. Especially regardless of what Memnarch's hand is. If it's like, what do you hit off of it that you have to fear, and think of everything you hit off that you have to gain.
And from there, we're also going to see Eureka turn 6, and that's going to make it very difficult for Memnarch early on.
100%. And now we know he's going to have a turn 5 Muck Morpher, which is great. Oh, that's unfortunate, though. He did hit the Brand, which he kind of wanted to hit.
Yeah, you do want to see Bran hit because of Kazakis. So we're going to see 2 5-pots here. And Memnarch's going to go for Polymorph Sheep if possible. So he's probably considering... Yeah, there he gets it.
Well, now he gets the Polymorph. Yep. He went for Polymorph and gained 7 armor. Pretty good.
And takes another Polymorph. It's between deal 5 and gain 7 armor. You don't really care about the demons here.
No, I think you just take the 5 damage at that point.
That's exactly what he did.
Also Polymorph and deal 5. Okay, so...
Walking Fountain, very
See,
nice.
that's pretty good, though. Now, my question is, do you... Like, he knows he's probably going for the 5. I'm assuming
yeah,
he doesn't trade the 4-2, right?
No. You leave that up.
Okay.
Doesn't know about the deal 5.
Leave that up.
You leave this up.
I mean, it's unfortunate, but, you know. Well, he does get rid of Zola, so that's pretty nice.
Yeah, the Zola pull is very nice.
Yep. Kind of unfortunate that, you know, it can deal, you know, the way that works. I feel like it's almost a little too broken, but it works out for Memnarch there.
Absolutely.
Playing Eureka, he gets another 7/7. I mean, that's also going to get Polymorph, sadly, but you know what? You do what you can in those spots.
Yeah, I think we're also going to see a Wand Thief here from Memnarch. Just get another spell when you can. Yeah, as you can see, Reno Mage is just so flexible in his game plan.
Yep.
Counterspells. Counterspell and Simulacrum, both very good pulls. I'm not going for the Simulacrum. That'll give him a second Zephyrus if he plays this right.
I think you totem here first, right? No, he's going to go for the Maelstrom. Okay. Oh! Full clear at least. Nice.
I'm surprised I didn't see the totem there. Should have totem first.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because then he might have gotten the spell damage. I mean, it works out here, but spell damage probably would have been preferred.
Yeah, so Memnarch is going to have to lose his hero power if he wants to copy Zephyrus. Doesn't really care about the fireball, so it's okay.
Right.
You don't mind seeing a different hero power from this point of the match on? In general, the hero power is very irrelevant. Yeah, life tap is very good here. He's going to get the second
Simulacrum.
Zephyrus.
Right, gets him the Zephyrus, which is fine. Double Zephyrus is extremely powerful. I think, yeah, you just go Walking Fountain here.
I have to here.
Yeah, I'm not. It's unfortunate because he's already used up 3 of his 6 cards that would allow him to, you know, get these things out of his hand or, you know, really make a big swing. But he's, you know, should be fine. I mean, the thing is, especially if he goes for a wide board, then he doesn't have offering something like Hex. So I guess he's just hoping he can last long enough to where he can get to that point. But what do you think is the play for Memnarch here?
So he has to be considering a few things here. He has Zephyrus, he has Wandmaker, he has Tortolan.
Right.
There's just so much you can do here.
I think you're just Tortolan because
Tortolan for Potion of Illusion is just not good. I don't think that was what Memnarch wanted to do.
Well, right, then now we won't have any other targets.
And now he's going to mill a card.
I just got kicked out.
That was strange.
Yeah. Weird. Hearthstone, why?
Well, in the meantime, we see some restraint from Itachi here. Not playing the Serpent Shrine Portal. Ooh. Lotheb Mild. Not
That
a
is
good look
rough.
for Memnarch.
You fight me, you get burned. Turn it up.
Yeah, he's just trying to clean up now.
You don't
Yeah.
hurt the water, see? You're in my hand.
What
Pilgrim
other
does
spells does he
nothing.
have?
Pilgrim does
Oh, okay.
nothing. He has
Did
nothing
he play
left.
that not realizing he had no other spells left?
I think so.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Because that seemed like a good play to me, but I didn't realize he had already played spells, so he took Potion of Illusion, and then that's just nothing. Okay, he triggers the Flame Ward. So that's pretty good. Then trades the trades it with the 3/4, I imagine.
I don't think he trades here.
You don't think so?
No, he's just going to drop Yasiraj, get as many stats on board as possible.
Fair. So he just goes face then, or no? He looks like he's going to trade.
Goes for trade. Don't know about that trade. It's not really necessary here.
No.
All Memnarch has to do now is just Zephyrus for Twisting Nether, and then he deals with the board. He has that second Zephyrus to deal with any other big minions that come down.
Yeah, Simulacrum and a Zephyrus, pretty powerful.
Yep, he's going for it.
Is he gonna take the Twisting? I'm assuming. Yeah, so he's gonna go.
Gotta
3
play that
damage.
Golden Nether.
Yep. Sexy Golden Nether. There's a Muck Morpher. That's pretty good. But he's just gonna play the Colossus instead.
Don't think Itachi has any other minions left in deck. That Muck Morpher doesn't mean anything.
Oh, that's unfortunate. And now he's just gonna get Hex off of this Zephyrus.
Nope.
No. Okay. See, that's the part I don't understand.
So what Memnarch had to do was play Bad Luck Albatross, and then he'll get Hex.
And then he would have gotten Hex. Yeah, that I have learned the hard way that is how it works. Even if Hex is in theory wrong, the right move here. If you have larger minions, if you have like more mana available, I'll give you Hex.
Correct.
So strange to me, honestly.
But it doesn't really matter because Memnarch is still winning this game.
Most likely. If you're right, especially if you're right that Itachi doesn't have any other deck, then he's just out of luck. It's unfortunate because that game would have gone so much differently if he had gotten the fountain off call.
Muck Morpher pulls nothing.
Yep, he's got nothing.
Yep, told you.
So, yep, you were right. So, he's just going face, hoping he doesn't have an answer.
So this is a bit of a misplay by Itachi. He should have played the Serpent Shrine Portal first.
So he could have given right. So he could have revived. He could have used the spores on that too.
Correct. It's just unfortunate. The ice block will get popped here.
Yeah.
If Memnarch doesn't heal
You can
up.
actually bring him down to 1 and pop it, but then he just Reno's next turn, so it's pretty awkward.
Okay, he is
he's
Renoing
gonna
this turn.
Interesting.
That torrent's gonna be very annoying though. Nice part, it's just gonna get cleared here. And his hand is not looking great. Doesn't really have a way to deal with this board cleanly. Cloud Prince is gonna help a lot. It's gonna be very close.
Excuse me, you are on fire. I'll show them all.
Now, something to note here, Itachi is out of minions and out of burst. So he's going to need these minions to stick if he wants a chance.
Sounds about right. I'm like wondering what else could he possibly do, like, you know, if he doesn't have any minions left and he doesn't really have direct damage, how does he win this?
He has to evolve here.
Mm,
He has no choice.
mm.
I think we're just going to see Albatross drop. I'm not going for Pocket Galaxy. Janice is an excellent pickup here.
Yeah, that's just more board development is exactly what you need right now.
I'm pretty sure this is going to be the game.
Job's done.
Well, that's pretty good.
This is going to be a problem for Memnarch now. See the spores.
Yeah.
I don't think Itachi has to necessarily trade there. Kind of want to see him go face. Because now the Muckmorpher risks dying.
Yeah, I figured he was just gonna Vivid Spores and then
Agatha's
clear the board.
Scream. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what
That
he
would have
was
given him
waiting.
2 Muckmorphers, and then Memnarch wouldn't have had a way to come back. He already
Right.
wasted all of his bursts. He only has a 1 mana spell, which probably isn't going to do anything. If anything, it'll freeze his minions. Or maybe it's a Tome of Intellect, which doesn't do much.
Right.
Now, though, there's just no way to win.
Yeah, he had to clear the board, and he would have had a decent board presence. And now
Now there's just no
Now he's
chance.
he can clear the board, but I mean, is he hoping he can just win in fatigue? Because that just doesn't seem plausible here.
No, he will never win in Fatigue.
I mean, I'm thinking like he probably would have won otherwise. Like, what could Memnarch have done the following turn if he just cleared the board?
Just about nothing.
Like,
He would have been hoping for an amazing Reno. And then outside of that, he would need something from Grifta.
right.
And so the Avian Watcher is just going to be icing on the cake here. Because that's going to get Taunt when he plays it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing for Itachi to do to get past a 4/7 Taunt.
I mean, he can still clear the board, though.
He can, but what will that do? He has 2 1/1s now. What are those 1/1s going to do to save him?
Possibly hit face, but you're right.
You're never getting past Jandis. You're never getting past Amazing Reno.
No. So. And that Burgly Bully is just icing on the cake at this point.
Yeah, this match is over.
Yeah. I mean, Itachi at least is looking extremely favored into the game 5, but
Correct.
you know, still unfortunate loss here.
I wonder.
Yeah, that's just.
Very interesting. So far, of these 4 games that we've watched, ooh, the darkness, the dankness is dropped.
Oh my
I'd love to
goodness.
see it.
I
As I was
remember
saying.
when the days of trying to play that in standard and control warlock to counter priest.
Yeah, Rizakis. That was quite the
Exactly.
time.
Yeah.
But as I was saying before, 4 games in, we've seen 2 games that should have gone one way go the other because of a key misplay on a single turn. Players just getting too greedy with their choices.
Need a key?
It was definitely a greedy play on his part.
None of these matter.
No.
This game is over.
Yep. As we would say in Yu-Gi-Oh, scoop it up, move on to the next. I mean, yeah, I don't think Devolve does anything here, but certainly try. Nope.
That's the game.
That is game. Game 5. So now it is Big Shaman versus Galacron Bomb Warrior.
Yes. And
For the set and possibly the championship. Right?
No, this is the semifinal. So
Oh, my
this
bad.
is a ticket to the finals, potentially.
Right.
So Itachi isn't too worried. So highly favored for the shaman here.
Right. Warrior's just not going to have a good way of dealing with these boards.
The thing is, though, this is Memnarch's deck. Like, Memnarch is the pioneer when it comes to Galacron Warrior right now.
Sure.
He probably has the most
Go
games
ahead.
played of anyone. Oh,
What you're saying.
we have a patches bug.
Not again. It's like if people could just stop playing patches, that'd be.
Or, you know, Blizzard could fix
They
it.
fix it too. I know.
Oh, no. Hearthstone, please. Okay, we're getting back in.
At least
I
this is
see
the
a
last.
chicken.
Angry chicken. Devoted maniac. First invoke.
Itachi is still very comfortable from here.
What?
Itachi is still very comfortable right here.
Oh, of course. But you're absolutely coining into that Muck Morpher.
Walking Fountain pretty good
Oh.
here.
That is good. He's got at least the removal, but I think he's hoping that he can get something good off his next draw that would be worthwhile with either the Ancestor's Call or I guess preferably the Eureka, right?
You're gonna wait for Eureka. Yep, that.
Oh, that's good. That's that good stuff right there.
And that'll be the game next turn.
Right. I mean, I don't think there's anything he can do about that, right?
So Memnarch runs Barov, Lord Barov,
Right.
and Barov will be able to take care of the. It'll be able to take care of the first wave, but the problem is Eureka summons a copy, which means he can just Eureka again the next turn, and Memnarch will be facing the same problem all over again.
Yeah, the Morpher there is a little awkward, but you look at his hand, Memnarch still has no way of clearing this Yashar.
Absolutely not.
He's going to clear the Morpher, but, Actually, no way he can clear the Yashar, but that's still a lot of damage.
Yeah, clearing the Yasiraj will not be enough, though.
And it's also kind of irrelevant when he's going to see the second. Well, sucks to be me today. And that fountain is going to add to the... Even with a fully upgraded Gallagher, that's unstoppable.
There we go. And there's Lord Barov.
But it's also one of those too little, too late situations.
It is. There's nothing he can do here.
Nope, Itachi. He's got a hope.
That's lethal.
No, I mean, there's not enough bombs. That's just it. That is it. Itachi taking a very close 3-2, almost getting reverse sweep, but that big shaman coming through in a big way, pun intended. Yeah,
This
I think
is
just
exactly.
wanted to be sure. Yep. One
we were
damage over lethal, but yep, that's enough.
And there we have it.
So that
3-2
means that
Itachi.
it is now 10-8 in favor. Still in 12, right? 12-8. No, wait, I can't do math. Sorry, 12-10 in favor of. Oh God, you guys are still down by.
We are, but we have the tiebreaker.
Yes.
So,
right. So
a win in any fashion from either side will be enough to get either team.
Margins don't matter. Margins do not matter right now. At this point, whoever wins the match between Ultimate and how do you say his name again?
Jack. Yes, that is
the winner of that match will decide who goes up to the finals. And we're still waiting to see 4 of the matches being played out in the batch in Anoyo team versus Hattleship.
Yes. Now let me see if I can grab Itachi.
Yes, let's do that. Let's bring this because that was a momentous match.
Absolutely. Okay, ringing him now. Hey, congrats on the win.
Mr. Itachi.
Hey, what's up?
What a game right there, man.
5-game series, very close.
How are you feeling during that whole thing? I have to ask. Like, you're on an undefeated team, and you guys are coming in down, knowing 2 matches to win, and here you are going up against the wild legend himself, Memnarch.
Yeah. Well, I knew he was gonna be a tough opponent, and I just figured I'd play the best I could play, and hopefully it worked out in my favor. So
yeah,
I knew he wasn't gonna make too many mistakes, so I was hoping that, or I was putting it on myself to not make many mistakes as well. I think I made 1 throw. And
I think there was one from each side actually.
Well, the first one was like was debatably a throw. It was like kind of.
It was 100% from Memnarch's side in that matchup. So when in the Malygos Raid versus Odd Rogue matchup, Memnarch had a chance to combo with Kun, the Forgotten King, and he could have armored up to 17 damage or 17 health by copying Sathravar or copying Kun with Sathravar, and then just dropping a single Malygos to clear your board. Had he done that, he would have had lethal the next turn, regardless of whatever you
Right.
did, and you wouldn't have had 17 damage. Instead, he copied Malygos and just went all in to try killing you.
Hmm.
And
Not
that meant
expecting
you
that.
had exact lethal.
I think he might have been under the impression that it was going to kill me because it's like hard to count that much damage that quick. But from my side, I was just counting by fives, and I was like, okay, he needs X spells to beat me. I think he needed 3 spells, and he had 2.
Yeah.
So I was just like, maybe he just, I don't know, maybe he just doesn't. he clears my board and doesn't kill me, and then I can just kill him over the top with the frostbolt and the weapon. So, and
Yeah.
then
It's
that's
just
what happened. So it's pretty good.
he didn't have draw to get any more burn spells. So there was
Right.
no way of him killing you.
Yeah. So I learned with Mally Drew, just count by fives, and then I mean, pretty much add a damage.
That's pretty much the easiest way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then from your side, I think there's a way for you to win the Shaman versus Mage match.
Right.
There was game 3 or game
Yes.
4.
Or game 4.
Yeah.
Game 4.
Yeah. There definitely was a way. Game 3, I don't think I had a way to win versus the Mally Druid. I think I was just gonna die regardless.
Yeah.
But game 4, there was a spot where I realized that I had messed up. I don't remember exactly what the play was, but I for sure did something incorrectly.
You had your Muck Morpher and 1/1 Totem up.
That's what it was.
Yes.
I
Right.
spent too much mana.
Yes. What you wanted to do was Spores
4
and then Scheme.
2. Yeah.
Yep, Spores and then Scheme, and I would have had the two 4/4s, and he would not have been able to. I was playing around the barista for like the latter part of the game, and then I just whiffed on my count when I was counting my mana.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
It
with
happens.
game 3, both games 3 and 4, some very unfortunate RNG. Like game 3, you absolutely could have won if you hit the Yasharj off of Eureka as opposed to the Muck Morpher. But like as Marty was saying during that game, like you definitely had to take a chance because 50-50 basically win the match right then and there.
Yeah, definitely. You just win the game. If it's the Sarge, then
Right.
that just wins the game.
And then game 4, when you played the Ancestors Call, that also, like, you basically, that was really unfortunate because not only could you have really hit anything but the brand and been very well off, but you also hit the brand and didn't hit your one way of dealing with it at that moment, which was getting the walking fountain. So
Yeah.
just like the worst possible scenario that could have played out of that. So
Yeah, and then I played around the polymorph by not attacking the second time with the walking fountain,
yes,
thinking that maybe he didn't get double polymorph because he took a while on the first one. So I was like, okay, he probably didn't hit polymorph on one, but he probably hit it on the second one, and then it was both polymorph.
Right.
So I was like, okay, well, I wanted to just like
that
be
was,
like, okay,
once he got that, it was just like, of course.
Yeah.
I was going to concede there and be like, I'll save the time, but I played it out.
And it was close, even with
It was very
that double polymorph. So.
Yeah, and I mean, game 1, he obviously, I think he wasn't sure I'm not sure how much he was thinking about like play around the potion of polymorph, but he was definitely, caught off guard when he tried to play Aviana and just had his whole entire combo messed up by it.
Yeah, it looked like he was about to coin or play like lightning bloom or something. When
He
played
had an
Aviana,
intervene
I was like,
hand, so he was definitely going to go Poon right after if you didn't do that.
yeah, it felt to lose. It felt harder to lose that game. I felt more pressure to just not lose it because I had access to Lotheb so many times.
Yeah. How good did you feel in game 5 when you drew that Yasharj and you just basically noticed, all right, I think that's pretty much it.
I have a notorious habit of playing really fast. So like my really fast mind wanted to just be like, okay, Ancestors Call in the game. But my like cognitive brain was like, okay, maybe I should wait so I can Eureka, and that way if he deals with it, I can Eureka
Right.
again and not have to
Exactly.
like hope I draw another minion.
Like you basically drew the exact hand you needed in that work pretty perfectly. Like he was forced to play the fully evolved Galakron, hoping maybe he could get something, but like at that point it was just like nope, nothing he could really do. You had maybe he also didn't do the math correctly, like maybe thought he could survive if he played the Galakron for the armor, but you had just over lethal. So
Well, when he did the Galakron play and then like just like pass, I was like, okay, maybe I don't have lethal. I kept counting it like this is lethal, right?
Yeah,
right,
you take those.
well, we could tell because you were hesitating a little bit, hovering over.
Oh, did we lose JR?
No, I'm here.
Oh, I think you might have cut off a little bit at the end. But
Yeah, you
all
cut off.
good.
Nah, I just said like you were clearly doing the math in your head to make sure that you had lethal. We could tell from the way you're moving. Understandably so, and that when so much is on the line, and as we were talking about before, you guys are undefeated going into this week, and you definitely do not even though you're obviously happy making it this far, you definitely do not want your playoff run to end just yet.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have to thank Itachi keeping us alive. We have one more match later today, and that'll decide who gets into the finals. It's going to be very close. I know Ultimate was considering asking Jack to push the match back so that we could get it on stream. So we'll see what happens there.
So after this match, the score will be 10-12.
Yes.
Correct.
Is there a scenario? So it's just a win and in. Like if you win, you're in. It's not a
right. There's nothing relevant as far as like the win margin goes. Whoever wins makes it. That's just where we're at.
Which is great. I like it.
I prefer those scenarios. Like I don't mind situations. In the regular season, I don't mind if there's a scenario where like a team can like come out with an upset and like if you're obviously it takes very extreme circumstances for those scenarios to happen where like you win only 2 of the 5 matches, but you still win in points.
Mm-hmm.
But here it's like I just like it where it's like okay, margins don't matter. It's just you gotta win.
Right.
It's very straightforward.
Yeah. Extremely fun.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by on the stream. Yeah, it's fun to. It's just fun to see,
Always a pleasure.
Especially with our playoff hopes still alive, hoping to get to finals. I'm curious to see how the other matchups go as well. So, and one last thing, I want to shout out Wild and Out. We'll be discussing the finals, all these matches this week, and we'll probably have another guest. So it'll be very exciting, and I ask everyone to tune in. So,
yep. Next week they'll be obviously talking about the finals, so that's got to be thrilling. First full season of Wild. You guys have an interesting format, very interesting variety of players this season, so definitely excited.
Yeah, and we've had several meta shifts as well. Almost every set of nerfs have affected Wild in some way. Especially the first nerf was specifically made with Wild in mind, and then we saw J-Druid, which was one of the 4 decks in the lineup to bring, just get absolutely slaughtered.
Oh yeah, with the Kill Pass nerf.
Yeah, and then finally the return of Darkglare, where people realized this deck is still really good. So, anyways,
right, like I'm looking, Warlock was still brought by, I think everybody but like 1 or 2 people.
Yes.
From the 20 people left.
Yeah, you always bring Warlock. You just have to.
Let me see. Everybody except for 1 person, 19 out of 20 bought Warlock.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Anyways,
I'm just confirming that. I think I don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's.
Let me double check that.
That's correct.
Wait. No, I'm mistaken. Everybody brought Warlock. I lied.
Yeah, everyone brought it.
I was about to ask who the group was.
Everyone brought Warlock.
It's just an automatic bring. The same can nearly be said for Mage, to be honest.
So before you guys sign off, one of the things that I wanted to make note of was that up until last season, I was the only person to have won 2 championships in the same season. I think, was it based or either A2 did it last season? So
A2 did.
I have to become in 2 different series, yeah. I have to become the only person to do it 2 times.
Well, we'll make sure. So it'll come down to Ultimate versus Jack later. Hopefully that will be on stream. We'll find out. If it is, I'll make sure to post in the Wild Series chat. So make sure to check on that. Anyways, thanks for stopping by. School is over, and we will see you next time on Schoolstone.
Take care,
Thanks,
everybody.
guys.